The birth of a genius, 1452. In a small village called Vinci in Italy, on April 15, 1452, a baby was born who would change the world, Leonardo da Vinci. He was the son of a notary named Ser Piero and a peasant woman named Caterina. Leonardo was born out of wedlock, but his father accepted him and gave him a comfortable life. From a young age, Leonardo showed great curiosity about everything around him. He loved to watch birds, water, and the movement of clouds. Unlike other children, he asked why about everything. This natural curiosity became the foundation of his genius. In the hills of Vinci, surrounded by nature, Leonardo began to draw, carve, and imagine machines that no one had ever seen. The world had no idea that this quiet child would one day become the symbol of creativity and intelligence for all time. Early education and apprenticeship. Leonardo did not go to a big school. He learned basic reading, writing, and math at home. But what made him different was his passion for learning from nature itself. He studied how birds flew, how rivers moved, and how shadows changed. When he was about 14, his father took him to Florence, one of the most beautiful cities in Italy. There, Leonardo became an apprentice in the workshop of the great artist Andrea del Verrocchio. This was a turning point. He learned painting, sculpting, metalwork, and even engineering. Verrocchio's studio was full of creative energy, and Leonardo quickly stood out. His skill amazed his master, so much that Verrocchio is said to have stopped painting after seeing how talented Leonardo had become. The boy from Vinci was now stepping into the world of art and invention. The artist of Florence. During his early years in Florence, Leonardo painted and drew endlessly. His notebooks were full of sketches, human faces, animals, and machines. People began to notice his talent for making faces look alive, full of emotion. One of his first famous works was The Baptism of Christ, in which Leonardo painted an angel so beautiful and realistic that everyone praised him. But Leonardo wanted more than art. He was fascinated by anatomy, light, and perspective. He started dissecting animals to understand muscles and movement. He wanted to know how life worked, not just how it looked. This desire to understand nature deeply became his greatest strength and sometimes his biggest distraction. Even in these early days, Leonardo's mind was racing far beyond his time. Dreams of flying. Leonardo had one dream that followed him all his life, the dream of flight. He watched birds for hours, sketching their wings and movements. In his notebooks, he drew flying machines with flapping wings, gliders, and even parachutes. He wrote that, "Once you have tasted flight, you will forever walk the earth with your eyes turned skyward." Though he never succeeded in making a real flying machine, his studies laid the foundation for future aeronautics. Leonardo's sketches show that he believed humans could learn from nature to conquer the skies. He wasn't just a painter, he was an engineer, a scientist, and a dreamer. These early experiments showed his boundless imagination and how his art and science were deeply connected. A man of many talents, Leonardo was not satisfied with being only a painter. He wanted to understand everything: the stars, the human body, the way water moved, the strength of bridges. He studied mathematics, physics, and anatomy. He even drew plans for submarines, tanks, and robots, hundreds of years before they were invented. His notebooks, written in mirror handwriting, show the mind of a man who could see the future. He was called the Renaissance man, someone who could do anything he tried. Yet, Leonardo often left his projects unfinished. He was so curious that one idea led to another before the first was done. But through this endless curiosity, Leonardo showed the true power of human imagination. Life in Milan. In 1482, Leonardo moved to Milan to work for Duke Ludovico Sforza. There, he became more than an artist. He was an engineer, architect, and event designer. He created grand statues, designed war machines, and painted for the Duke's court. It was during this time that he began his masterpiece, The Last Supper, in the monastery of Santa Maria del Grazie. This painting captured the exact moment Jesus told his disciples that one of them would betray him. The emotions, the gestures, the drama. Everything was painted with perfection. It became one of the greatest works in history. In Milan, Leonardo lived like a true Renaissance genius, combining art and science to serve both beauty and power. The Last Supper. The Last Supper became Leonardo's most famous religious painting. He used new techniques to make the scene feel alive. Instead of using traditional fresco, he experimented with a new paint mixture, though it later began to fade. Still, the composition was revolutionary. Each disciple reacted differently to Jesus' shocking words, creating a moment full of emotion and movement. The painting showed Leonardo's deep understanding of human psychology and light. Even centuries later, people travel from all over the world to see it. Though the wall has suffered from time and damage, Leonardo's vision remains powerful, a window into his brilliant mind and heart. The inventor's mind. Leonardo's notebooks from this period show inventions that seemed impossible at the time. Helicopters, tanks, bridges, and even musical instruments. He designed a self-moving cart, a machine gun, and systems for city sanitation. His sketches were so advanced that modern scientists still study them today. Leonardo believed art and science were one. To him, beauty came from understanding how things worked. But because he often wrote in secret code and kept his work private, many of his inventions were never built. Still, these pages reveal a genius who imagined the modern world centuries before it existed. The human body and anatomy. Leonardo was deeply interested in the human body. He secretly dissected bodies to learn how muscles, bones, and organs worked. He drew the human skeleton, the heart, and even the unborn baby in the womb with remarkable accuracy. These studies were not just scientific, they were beautiful works of art. He believed the human body was a perfect machine created by nature. His drawings helped later scientists understand anatomy in ways no one had before. Leonardo's blend of art and science showed his belief that to paint life, you must first understand it completely. Return to Florence. After years in Milan, Leonardo returned to Florence in 1500. There, he continued his studies and took on new commissions. Around this time, he began painting the Mona Lisa, a portrait that would become the most famous painting in the world. The woman's mysterious smile and the soft light on her face made the painting feel alive. Leonardo used a special technique called sfumato, blending colors smoothly without visible lines. The result was magic. People still wonder who the woman was and why she smiled that way. The Mona Lisa became a symbol of Leonardo's unmatched skill and mystery. The Mona Lisa's secret. Leonardo worked on the Mona Lisa for years, carrying it with him wherever he went. He never sold it, as if it were part of his soul. The painting's smile seems to change when you look at it from different angles, sometimes warm, sometimes distant. Scientists and historians have studied it for centuries, yet the secret remains unsolved. Leonardo's understanding of human emotion and light made this small portrait eternal. Through the Mona Lisa, he captured the mystery of human nature itself. It is more than a painting. It is a conversation between art and life. The final years in France. In 1516, Leonardo accepted an invitation from King Francis I of France. The king admired him deeply and gave him a home near his castle at Amwaa. Leonardo brought his notebooks, his paintings, and his dreams. Though his health began to fail, he continued to design buildings and festivals for the king. Francis I often visited him, calling him the greatest mind of all time. Leonardo spent his last years teaching and thinking about the harmony between art, science, and nature. Even in old age, his curiosity never stopped. Legacy of a timeless genius. On May 2nd, 1519, Leonardo da Vinci died peacefully in France at the age of 67. The king was said to have held him in his arms as he passed away. Leonardo left behind few finished paintings, but thousands of pages of ideas, drawings, and discoveries. His genius touched every field: art, science, anatomy, architecture, and engineering. He showed the world that imagination has no limits. Even today, his name stands for creativity, curiosity, and brilliance. Leonardo da Vinci was not just a man of the Renaissance. He was a man for all time.